Hi, and thank you for watching show number 110 on your favorite platform, Spotify, YouTube, BitChute, or Archive. This is DJ Chris at Targeted West. It is the 28th of April, 2024. It is 74 degrees here in beautiful Lodi in my beautiful camper. The opinions of those on this call are their own and not that of DJ Chris or Targeted West. We're a fourth industrial revolution call that talks about emerging and future technologies and technologies that actually existed in the background before the fourth industrial revolution officially started, but we'll call it that and give them credit. But it's about brain hacking and being able to combine your body into a machine, therefore making you a transhuman. That's the ultimate goal of this. Anyway, tonight's TI Book Club is going to start right now. We're switching things around backwards. So we're going to go ahead and do the little commercial. And there you go.
It's time for the TI Book Club, where every book opens a door to new worlds and shared journeys. Here, we uncover hidden gems, specially selected for TIs, and always within your reach. Be part of a community that reads together, grows together, and sees the world through the same lens. Don't just listen to stories, live them with us. Join now at bookclubs.com/TIBookClub/join, and let's turn the pages of adventure together.
Yeah, that's TI Book Clubs on bookclubs.com. Join for free. We're talking about Alana Freeland's book again about geoengineering transhumanism. She was here last show number 109 and discussed her book and her opinions about what's going on in our world and environment. And she's also a targeted individual too, which she disclosed. So we're reading her book, continually reading it through the week. And we also bought the book she recommended, and that's the book about the space fence. That was a book she wrote, I think, in 2018. So check that out. That'll be in our book club. I just bought the book, the second one, the space fence book, and I added it to the TI Book Club. We now have 144 members. Had someone rejoin. I'm glad to have them back. It's great. We're definitely open to anyone. You're welcome to join if you'd like. It's for the community, and we're always here to bring you new books and share books that maybe you have that you'd like to tell us about. We always follow up on all book recommendations, so if you have a book recommendation for me, you can send me a message at DJ Chris at TargetedWest.com, and I'll add it to the book club. So I'm going to be sitting here letting you talk. It's open mic. You can speak if you'd like. Louis Rowe will be here in just a moment. We're doing the book club now. But I was profoundly affected by Alana Freeland's book, because it made a lot of sense to me about why they're doing what they do to us. And the last part of the book I got to was about Morgellons. And did you know Targeted Justice is starting a Morgellons group? So if you've got that, which is a polymer that they put viruses and stuff in, and it goes in your body and excretes out. And then when you go to the doctor to tell them about it, they tell you you're crazy and it's a mental illness when you literally have it on your arm. So that's where I'm at on that book club. The space fence is more about how we are being completely controlled by this electromagnetic force of energy that's including directed energy weapons that keep us in our place. It's like we're individually put in a space jail or a floating prison. And that's where, oh, somebody just lit a fire. Pew. But anyway, it's open mic. We're waiting for Louis Rowe to come in. So does anybody have any comments? Come on in.
Hey, DJ, could you give a quick background on Louis Rowe for us?
Well, Lewis Rowe was recommended to me by TI Events. I don't have too much background except that he started TI Day, which is August 29th. He has an organization called Neural Rights Advocacy, and he has a website he'll be sharing with you in a few minutes. And that's about what we have on him.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
You're welcome.
When I talked to him last, Chris, he also said that he had gotten 320 letters to his representatives this year, which kind of, you know,
That's
we've got...
That's incredible. That's
and
incredible.
He also does I think every Saturday for a long time in Arizona, he did a rally and passed out flyers. 3 years since he...
Well, cool beans. We'll go to 6:50 on his interview and then have Q&A and play it up until 7 p.m. So, hold on a moment. So our book club is first. Now, the book club has started in 2016. This is our 8th year. And like I said, it's free to join. And we're not really political. We just talk about targeting and associated technologies and include books that people would be interested in. I just bought, people are always referencing 1984, which we have in the library, but the other book, can't recall the name of the author at the moment, but we just bought his book. And that's always a good read. It's always being referred to by other books. So it's definitely something I got. A Brave New World by Aldous Huxley is the book, and we're going to be talking about that. Plus Aldous Huxley's Revisited book. So I got 2 books for the price of one. And this week I read a book by, I think her name was, her last name or first name was Christine, I think, and she wrote about I Emote Calm, and it was about her story about how she was having people come into her house. It's in the book club. It's listed in books we read, and they rearranged her. Speaking of book club, they rearranged her entire bookshelf, and nobody knows how it happened. She keeps hearing her voice being said at the store. They saw, both her and her husband, Eric, saw an orb flying through their house, a blue orb. So that's in the book club. I see Whitey's in the house. There's a good crowd. We've got 52 already. Wow, that's amazing. So it's open mic until Lewis gets here. He should be here in a couple more minutes. Lewis Rowe, are you here yet?
Have you read Harari's book, Yuval Harari's Homo Deus?
I have not read that. Would you be willing to send that to me in email?
I got it from the library. I checked out the book, and I read it. And it gets into a lot of what Aldous Huxley brings up in Brave New World with designer babies and that sort of thing, and how in the future, people that get the augmentation upgrades, they're going to have the best jobs and the best. It's kind of like how people with money were able to educate their kids, and people that didn't have an education had the worst jobs and stuff like that.
That's funny because that's my theory is in my book about and I didn't read it yet, that people will be enhanced. They'll have that BCI.
Right. So basically, he makes an equivalency. He claims that the people who are upgraded in the future are going to be the equivalent to. They're going to think about us as how we think of Neanderthals. The same way that we think of Neanderthals, the upgraded humans are going to are going to believe that we are like the Neanderthals.
Yeah, and they're all going to get elected to official posts and end up extinguishing us unless we go for the enhancement, which costs money, and that won't be offered to people without money, for sure.
Absolutely. So that's an important book to read. I know a lot of people don't like to read the futurists, you know, like Yuval Harari or Ray Kurzweil, but I like to read it because I like to know what their plans are, and because I see all their plans coming to fruition now.
Yeah, Roy Kurzweil's book, Singularity is Near, is in our book club, and I read that. And he takes metformin to extend his life, and he wants to live forever. He takes a cocktail of drugs every day, and he's the director of technology at Google, so this is not a quack. He's incredibly intelligent, but he's making us, or it's now in fruition. You're now seeing the transhumanism happening now, yes?
Oh, yes, yes.
And it's amazing that it's right there in front of your face. And
it's in living color.
Yeah, it's in 3D. So it's the book club meeting. You're all welcome to join in. If you'd like to talk about a book that you like, got a recommendation, you can tell me now, but I always have you email me because I'll forget. I will. We have Dr. Duncan's book, Dr. Hall's book. We've got every book. But there's always more, I'm finding out. No matter how many books you've got, there's always another one. Well, it's open mic until Louis Rowe comes in, so knock yourself out. Any announcements? Any new people to check in?
They passed the 702 for another 2 years.
I didn't know that. When did that happen?
I think over the weekend. I think Biden signed it. They said it passed the House and the Senate.
Great. Now, does this law include Wi-Fi snooping now?
I'm not too sure.
I think it does.
They were talking about it on Fox News this morning that it passed.
What is the law? Can you just brief us what it was? Thank you.
Basically, the law states that they surveil Americans without a warrant.
Which is part of the Patriot Act that they renew every year with the 702, which is a part of it. And it came out in 2006 or 8, though, later on.
But
yeah,
they call it surveillance, but what they're really doing with it is harassing people. If it was just surveillance, they're tampering with lives and jobs and communities. If it was just surveillance, I guess, you know, we don't really approve of it, but that's not what they're using it for. This is clearly something else.
This is why
my targeting is harassment. It's nothing else. It's just harassment and just I call it the mass distraction weapon.
But the definition of surveillance, if you look it up, it is assuming you are looking at a criminal and you're just waiting for them to, or trying to provoke them into committing a crime while you're watching them. So it has harassment built into the definition, in my point of view.
Yes. And so anybody who was watching to see if this would pass, which my money is on that it would anyway, would have to know that of course they're going to pass it. That's what they want.
Lewis will be here in 5 minutes. He's running a little late. I think he had to work or something today. So he'll be here in just a moment. So stay tuned. Open mic. Come on in. What's up? So the 702 passed for 2 years. Oh, that's just great, isn't it? So they snuck that on the weekend after the bank failed?
Yeah.
It's actually, it replaces them actually going after criminals. They actually don't keep track of the criminals, people who are actually doing something wrong. They're so busy watching us and bothering us that they don't have time to catch criminals, and they don't even keep track of them at all.
That's what one of the whistleblowers for the FBI, one of the recent whistleblowers, admitted that the FBI was doing. They weren't watching foreign terrorists anymore. They had turned their attention to civilians in this country.
Yes, they actually label it domestic terrorists. So that's why you're a threat to national security, and that's how they're able to use that warrant. And in my case, actually, what they used that for was to go around and tell people in my community and everything that I was a criminal on the run until they could push me and train me using like neural remote monitoring, like I'm this child pedophile. And they usually use children and bikes and all kinds of stuff to frame me up in a community. And it's a really bad situation. They literally, framed me for, taking money from the store, but they have been working on that for over 2 years. So when the guy hired me, he already knew.
But they have to do that. They do that. They smear and create the lies and the profile against all TIs. They do that to all TIs, and they have to. They have to create a reason why the public would jump on board against them.
And the child thing is so taboo and forbidden that it gets people's attention. And by the way, my V2K is microscopically focused on someone that doesn't exist in my life. So they're trying to frame me as a pedo.
Of course.
And you know what, DJ Chris? That word pedo is so outrageous, and what it does is it psychologically affects people. So they don't even think about true or not. Yeah. It's just it causes people to be enraged and angry, and they want to attribute it to someone without even knowing whether it's true or not.
Exactly.
Well, schizo is another taboo.
Yeah,
every lie that they create.
Go ahead, HC.
Every lie that they create, it's not just pedo, but every lie that they create and publicize to the community or the public again about us creates that same effect. It angers the community, and the community buys into the lies, and so they jump on board.
Yes, I also have the local police department that's framing me as well. So I'm not in the best situation using. Yeah.
Yeah.
And has anybody has experience with bioweapons? Chemicals in your apartment?
Biohacking of my aura, yeah.
Bioweapons, like literally to change, like.
No, I don't have any bioweapons except what they spray in the sky above us.
I've had experience with bioweapons.
Yes, they tried that in the early years at my previous apartment from hell. They tried the bio route. It didn't last long. Fortunately, they moved on.
Yeah, they put it in my pipe.
Okay. I've heard a lot of TIs talk about stuff like that.
Mhm. And it's altered my body really bad. I don't know, it's something. I don't know.
Yep.
Okay, well, Louis Rowe should be here any moment. Thank you guys for waiting.
Thanks for your support, y'all. I'm a little bit nervous. I'm Diane in St. Louis, just if anybody's looking for me.
Hello, Diane. How are you? Are you a new person to the call?
I'm to the book club. I wasn't prepared for the book club, but I thought I would.
Oh, yeah, the book club. Yes, we've been doing that for a while. I'm glad you're here for that.
Yeah, thank you.
Anne in St. Louis.
Hi.
Okay. In case you want to get together with other TIs in St. Louis.
Yeah, who is that?
The regular from St. Louis her name is Ann. She always comes on these calls, so keep an ear out for Ann in St. Louis. That's how she introduces herself.
And
Yeah,
she's a state contact. She's a Missouri state contact, so you can get her on the.
That's it.
Yeah, my body's very weary. My body's very weak, and I need somebody that can come get me.
Join the club on our bodies being very weak.
I can hardly walk, and it's shocking me.
Yeah, I'm in bed a lot.
Yeah, if you guys are getting weak, they switch back and forth between traditional EMF and cold plasma weapons. And the cold plasma weapons zap your body of electrolytes by the way they operate in your body. So you've got to make sure you're getting enough magnesium. I'll say it every call. I'm sorry for the ones who are sick of it, but I'm getting my pom-poms out for magnesium, calcium, potassium, and sodium. And when you're low on those, you're going to feel really weak. So the best way to get healthy sodium is to drink organic broth. And you can buy it.
I don't want to be rude, but Louis Rowe's here now.
Oh,
Louis Rowe, thank you, Lily Bell. Louis Rowe, are you available? Come on in.
Can you just repeat those three things real quick?
Repeat that, Lily Bell.
Sure. These weapons manipulate your calcium ion channels. Every cell in your body communicates through calcium. So you get depleted really quickly, and that's why sometimes you feel like you have narcolepsy and they knock you out for 20 minutes. Your body's energy literally has to rejuvenate, or she can't operate. She being the computer system that monitors all the weapons usage in you. They have to monitor it so you don't pass out, right? So you need to take extra calcium, magnesium, potassium, and sodium. Especially now, you have to watch your blood pressure if you're sodium sensitive. And my best form of getting sodium properly is I buy organic. It's called, the brand of it is called Better Than Broth, or Better Than Bouillon. That's it. And you get the organic kind at the grocery store, and there's all kinds of flavors. And I throw like a teaspoon or so in a cup of hot water.
Thank you for that. Louis Rowe, are you available now?
That's it.
Thank you. Louis Rowe, come on in. Hey, how are you? I'm good. Your volume is extremely low. Can you see if you can bring it up? Is that better for you? I still can't hear you. You're very quiet. Hold on one second. Yeah, we can't hear you at all.
Okay, how's this? Is that better?
There you are. I hear you now.
Hey, what's up? How you doing?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome Louis Rowe, the founder of August 29th Day. We're in open mic mode so you can interact live. And Louis Rowe is with us now. He has a Neural Rights Foundation. He'll be discussing and sharing the link. Without further ado, welcome Louis Rowe to the recording and the show. Thank you. Come on in.
Thank you.
Everybody, please mute your mics. Thank you. Louis Rowe may have to switch modes. That's okay. Well, thank you for dropping by, Louis. How are you doing today?
I'm doing okay. How are you guys doing?
We're good. We get a pretty big turnout on the Sunday call. It's a Fourth Industrial Revolution technology call.
It's very nice.
This is our third year. We welcome you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm glad to be here on your call. I've been waiting for a good month and a half of this, and I finally made it onto your call, so here I am. So I've been really busy trying to pull things together. I've been trying to put out information about the TI Day event on August 29th. For all these good things that are happening with the neural rights legislations and everything that's happening with that. So it's been a very good momentum. Lots of good different types of information coming out. And it's been awesome, you know, and so us getting out again for the August 29th event would be good to do that because, you know, because we need that momentum right now in this country today, and for the things that are happening with the Havana syndrome and all that stuff that's coming out, it has a lot of potential, you know. And from what I heard, that they're planning on going in front of Congress or the Supreme Court with a couple of different things, with scans and all that, which is that's awesome. That's really cool. And you know, with the rise of other foreign countries that have neural weapons and their arsenal of weapons in their military, it seems like there could be implementations from the United States to China that's diving into that, such as data transfer of data, countries being able to use satellites on citizens without other countries knowing about it, which is another big issue. And these kind of things need to be brought up to the attention, not just for the United States, but the world, because the capabilities of these satellites and what they're able to do, and to build locking mechanisms and whatever they have that can target you. And not even that, but also the cyber web that's contributed to targeting people, such as, you know, when China attacked the power grid structure through cyber attacks. It's basically like the same concept. If you have V2K, it's almost the same concept. So, you know, I create videos for my website in my organization that
what is your website URL, please?
Yeah, it's advocacyforneuralrights.org.
Thank you. And what's on your website that you can share with us?
Well, let's take a look. Let me see. I'm going to pull it up right quick. So basically, what I've been trying to do is contact a lot of doctors and create some initiatives for neural rights. Some of the things that they're sort of missing on these legislations are basically the afflictions that can happen from neural technologies. You know, but if you start talking about, like, you know, because the legislations and the laws do mention that they can manipulate your senses and all this stuff, but they don't mention any kind of afflictions that can happen from these things. And that, you know, and I'm just talking about like a regular helmet from a neurotechnology piece. You know, if you were to wear a helmet that ties to your brain, it might cause some sort of affliction. Well, you know, with that door, if we can open up that sort of door in that field, well, that would probably bypass the agenda of having to get a lot of other information compiled into one group. You know, if we can put that on there, well, then you can say, well, I have a BCI in my body. You know, I have neural afflictions from this BCI that's in my body. That's an important part of getting scanned right now, because if we get scanned right now, and I know that a lot of people don't have the funds to do that, but getting scanned right now will be probably one of the best things that we can do as far as that goes, especially people in Colorado, because they already have that bill. They have that law up there in Colorado, and I hear California is about to pass it. You know, I got the newsletter from the Neural Rights Foundation talking about that. Then Minnesota has that legislation, which I've tried to reach out to them. I haven't heard back from people in Minnesota about their, which is really good, because they mention a lot of different government entities and 10 years in prison and such as that, which is what they really need. But this has been going on for so long that it's even hard to pinpoint the somebody's got some echo, but it's sort of hard to pinpoint what the endeavor is on it, because, you know, it has been going on for a long time. So, you know, and not just from just being attacked, but it does accumulate data. That's the thing. It does accumulate data, and to attack you, and such as people with V2K and whatnot. So, you know, and those are the initiatives. I'm sorry. What? Say that again.
You said something about getting scanned.
Yeah, it's getting scanned. Yeah, try to get scanned. There's a guy in Utah that does all the scans. Go ahead. I'm sorry, sir.
Yeah, no. That's it. You're talking about that. What exactly is the scan?
Well, the guy in Utah does the scans, and his scans are biofrequency scans. So it's basically your nonlinear junction scan. So they'll be able to pinpoint frequencies inside your body, you know, regardless of whatever implant it is or whatever's inside your body that's accumulating, you know, or creating some sort of resonance from your body. So
can you please, whoever that is, can you mute that, please? Oh, I'll find it.
It says Mohib Jivan for the laughter.
Gotcha. Oh, there he is. Yeah, that's real cool. Thanks, dude. Continue, okay. Lewis.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, so yeah, like the gentleman was saying, asking a question about getting scanned, it's a nonlinear junction scan that will go into and see if you have implants or whatnot, see how many you have. I heard that some of the most recent scans came out to be 129 different BCI implants inside their body. So, and from this material that is injected inside their bodies, or like GPS tracking devices, V2K devices, telemetry, and other types of implants that are injected into the citizen. So, with that, which does contribute to neural rights, because you do have a BCI, which is a brain-computer interface device inside your body, which is reading all your telemetry and your information, your personal bio data, your neural data, all these things that you're witnessing today on these laws that do contribute to that. And so when it comes to the BCIs, which is another aspect, because the laws didn't really mention BCIs. I don't know why they didn't, but they should be in there. But it's there. And it's there to help advance forward, and not trying to go backward, but advance forward with that legislation, and you'll be able to comprehend it and tell your governors about this stuff, and then tell your congressmen about it. And it's advancing forward, in that field. So much like a lot of people thought, a lot of TIs thought that when the Van Ascension bill was going to come out, it was going to help us. Maybe we can get that drafted over to us. No, we couldn't. So, but people are getting diagnosed with it. But that was one big major aspect of that. So with the recent 60 Minutes that came out, that was a big one too, because they explained that these are high energy pulse weapons, that this could be a national security threat, or it could be some sort of war going on. And see, but with that, they were just talking about the handguns. They weren't talking about like satellites and stuff. They were talking about the little EMF guns, So that was another one that really kind of tweaked my nerve a little bit, because is anybody getting hit by a handgun right now? I'm not. I experience this stuff everywhere I go. And yeah. So that was another one, and they try to blame it on the one Russian guy in the side of the United States, but the lady had traveled around the 3 different states getting hit in all areas. Well, if that was the case, then how does a lady outside the White House get hit by a weapon if it's a little EMF gun? I mean, would you even get close to having something like that to the White House? Probably not.
I agree. Yeah, that's kind of like improbable. It's got to be a big weapon.
Right. So that's another occurrence right there that the government is not looking at. And I think they're trying to avoid conflict and error, from war, because neural weapons are on the rise. And let me say this, from the research that I've done and the things that I've read, if a war does occur in the United States, they will use neural weapons on people, and we are not in any way ready to protect ourselves. At least the other half of American people, they're not ready to protect themselves. There's nothing there to protect anybody. So if we start getting hit by this stuff, then who's going to do what? When I try to bring that up at a city meeting that I went to a couple months ago, when I said that this stuff is expanding on a slow level, but it's expanding. And I've already met a couple of different people that have been targeted, and I've been in activism for about 8 years, and when I see these new people come aboard, it's like I've been working towards getting this thing out, and it just seems like it just keeps expanding and expanding and expanding. Well, this whole complete neural network is built upon capturing people and basically decitizenize that person, and basically like individualize that person as well, because they are being targeted by this stuff with the neural network, and the cyber attacks. So, and
it also creates menticide, which is the suicide of the death of the brain.
Right. Yeah. Well, I was absolutely. Yeah, I was checking out some of the treaties that they have from NATO and from other foreign nations about like bioweapons and such. So neuroweapons would fall up under a bioweapon or like a chemical weapon because it does contribute to knocking off your chemicals inside your brain. You're not able to comprehend or use your brain functionally because of the neuroweapon attacks that you're going through. So. That's another big occurrence, which there's nothing on neural weapons in a treaty somewhere, not that I found. And there's not much on the satellites either. So people can do whatever they want. They can roam over the sky. And this is something that we need to hit, all together, because satellites are a big issue. There's thousands of them up there, and they just launched, I don't know how many, but they've been launching them up like crazy lately, which I also think contributes to a lot of individuals' targeting going up. So, such as mine, my targeting has gone up for the past 7.5, 8 months, and so have a lot of other people's, all at the same time. So, and I think it has a lot to do with these satellites that are going up in space. If we don't try to target these satellites and do something about them, then it's going to be hard for anyone to do anything. And what I call the satellites up in space now is the new empire. We have countries on the ground, but the satellites are in control up on top. They have everything. They can see what you're doing. I mean, China can spy into your home without. I mean, how do you know they're not? I mean, there's nothing you can do about it, right?
You are correct. We are completely open to any of that. You are correct. And the way that they do this, you can't detect it most of the time.
No, you can't, because.
So are these military? Yeah. Are these, because there's like 5,000 Starlink? Can they attack us with those satellites? And they're talking about
observe you with them. They could attack you. I would think. There's a military version of Starlink too.
I didn't know there was a military version of Starlink, but I do know that there's they're using neuromorphic SATCOM satellites. I know that. That's a new one. And it's this satellite AI, which, they've probably been using this anyway, but for a long time, but, like satellite AI that's operated by AI. So it can do what it wants autonomously. It can think. It can, change behaviors. It can attack you on the ground. So, it can do whatever it wants. And with enough of these neuromorphic satellites up in space, you can read about it. You can pull it up. It's called neuromorphic satellites, SATCOM, military stuff. So, if the U.S. has it, then China has it, then everybody else has it, and that means that they can do whatever they want to us at any given moment, which I personally think that China is a big contributor to what's happening today, just because based off of what they're doing to their citizens in China. I think they have a lot to do with what's going on with us, and I think it needs to be recognized by the government about what they're doing, and that's just how it needs to be. Now, when it comes to the BCI implants and things that are being injected into your body, that is another contributor to what's happening inside of America, which is another big issue. So we have multiple issues going on inside of America right now, and it's crazy because we are experiencing all these things, and it's hard to pinpoint who's doing it. But the biggest manufacturers are China and the United States. The United States buys material and software from China. The U.S. implements it on society today. So, that's just how it is, and that's basically what they're doing. It's data transfer. Our information is probably being sent to some big neural network computer that's collecting all of it, deciphering that information, decoding it, and then doing something with it and making bank off of it, making big money off of it. Because, like the Cold War era, they were trying to get to the moon or trying to get to the space and trying to do all these things real fast. And that's basically what they're doing right now. They're trying to get all the information that they can get because nobody's watching, nobody's doing anything. Hey, it's like stealing money from a baby. Not a candy, but money from a baby, literally. And that's basically what's happening. They've created this big meditative field.
You complain about it, you go to a mental hospital.
Yeah, exactly. Isn't that crazy? That's crazy.
Almost a perfect crime, but it's not. It's still a crime. All we have to do is expose them, right?
Yeah, that's all we have to do. But, we have to do it correctly and in the right way of doing that. Otherwise, they will put us in a hospital. If we're not all jointly together like we should be, which is hard to do anything because they have everybody so down, because everybody is disfocused. And, I go through my stuff every day, and it's like, I've been going through this for a long time. I mean, since 2011, I was in college, or going to school at that time, and I was getting all kind of, deep thought processing that was coming to me, and I was experiencing all these things. So the way I see it is that if the government doesn't expose what's going on with these things, then it's going to be hard, which could lead to conflict, because if China rises up over the United States with this stuff, and they already have, or I can say they probably will, is that they probably will start implementing these neural weapons on citizens just like they are doing right now today, more. So, basically losing all your cognitive free will, your functions, your life and liberty, everything that's in action be pulled towards them, because China doesn't care about free will. They have no concept of it. So, and that's the crazy thing, because China is trying to be the number one power in all throughout the entire world. And if you can't see that rise, what they're doing, you gotta take a look at it, because
right. Well, they've been around a lot longer than we have too, so they're very good at it.
Right. Yeah, they know how to manipulate countries and things like that, and how to.
And I think they know mind control from a long time ago, from centuries ago, and dream manipulation. I've heard, like in the Manchurian Candidate movie, where the Chinese were manipulating their dreams. I know that's a movie, but I believe it's possible.
That's crazy. Wow. Huh.
So do you have time for a question from the audience?
Yeah, sure.
Anybody have a question for Louis Rowe? Come on in.
Hello. How are you?
Hey.
Hi, I'm fine. Come on in.
This is Dana.
Hey, Dana.
What you were saying was really true, because when I noticed my targeting started, I have a whole bunch of them moving to my apartment.
Oh, what do you mean?
The Chinese.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's crazy. What took place with that?
I don't know. When I started noticing my targeting and they started gang stalking me, a whole bunch of them moved into my apartment. And we have 3 buildings, and I'm in the middle building. So I have them all in my apartment. They moved in an apartment across from me, and they moved into the apartment behind me.
Wow. Yeah. Well, that's crazy. Well, when it comes to probably just Chinese people, it might not just be the citizens, but it's most likely going to be the military that are doing all that, because
yeah, I was going to say military and the Chinese contractors for the Defense Department.
Yeah. Right.
I'm sure they have them too.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I mean that's what they did back in Pearl Harbor. When Pearl Harbor got blown up. Of course, that was Japan, but I mean, there's spies in this country that are doing all kinds of things. So spy weapons, setting up, probably no telling what they got. So
every time I leave, or if I go down to the laundry room, best believe one of them is going to the laundry room or leaving with me.
No, you mean they follow you around?
Yes. By foot, car. Yep.
That's weird.
Every movement we make, they love to follow. Somebody will follow us. That's classic TI. Yeah. Hurt behavior.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I know that some people in the U.S. government are trying to knock China off of what they're doing, because they're trying to buy up territory in America right now, which is a very dangerous thing, because they don't care about. I don't think they really care about Americans too much, to be honest with you. I don't think they really care. So
I don't think our own government cares what we do or about us either. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Well, I mean, with that, I mean, it'd be great to take measures into our own hands. I mean, we probably should because we're being ignored, but, I mean, what do you do? I mean, there's not much you can do. I mean, you really can't take measures into your own hands unless you do something ultimately different. Like, you know, I don't know. I have no clue. I don't want to say nothing over the call, but I have my beliefs on what should happen, but I'll keep that stated to my own opinion.
Yeah, because we don't want any violent talk, of course. But, you know, you can always get a lot done with peace and understanding and focus, of course, and it always works out the long way.
Right. Well, what I mean is by like manufacturing, you know, creating manufacturers or plants that create things, and just totally rolling out a budget that would come from somewhere. Some country would pay for it probably, and then implement into society, like such as you know, neural devices that would block out V2K, for example. Creating a whole entirely different new way of life for American citizens, or at least on this continent. And you know, because I do believe in that. I'm a firm believer in trying to implement or create a new neural device that would block these frequencies and things that we're all being attacked by, which is what we need. I know that the military is working on certain things like that, but I mean, these are, you know, frequency scanners that can find if they're being hit by a frequency. Me, I would probably suggest just creating a neural device to wear over your head that would maybe transmit some sort of sound or frequency to your brain that would totally wipe out the V2K. Ultimately, just wipe it out. So that's my concept, you know, and I'm pretty sure there are some stakeholders out there that would probably buy into something like that, because we are coming up on this age of technology, and you know, and we have to protect ourselves because technology is advanced. I mean, look how long this stuff has been going on, and all these crazy things are coming out right now. And you know, so you know, for me, myself, and my group, I do have a party of members. But I normally work by myself because I've been doing that for so long. But I would really try to get you know, policies implemented, and I'm working on doing that. I'm trying to find a good way to do that. So a good way to do that would be contacting the managerial staff of hospitals and talking to them, you know, professionally and understandably, you know, and just get them on the concept of neurorights, that neurotechnologies can afflict people. They can steal information, manipulate your brain, and see all your intimacy inside your head, you know, such as your husband or your wife or something. They can pull up that data. I mean, they can depict all these pictures and images inside your head now. They can, you know, do all these crazy things. They can read your mind. They can read your brain. They can inject videos and images into your brain. And this stuff is so capable that it's almost nonstop. You can't stop it. So then it breaks all your rights over what they're doing. So that's primarily what I do with my advocacy group that I've been doing for a while, and then trying to get that on top of public awareness, that initiative. I do speak to people, you know, I hand out little cards and whatnot, and I tell them about my organization. I tell them to get on, check out my website, which I still have a lot of work to do. I know I've got a lot of stuff on there right now, but I try to make it where it's up to date, because, you know, all these things that are happening that are coming out, and I've been on the case of AI and like neural technologies since before the cyber torture mandate came out, when I was doing the anti-neural human trafficking. That was the very first advanced human trafficking organization, and there's not a single one out there. So I did that, and finally, when the cyber torture report came out from Niels Mauser in the United Nations, when I spoke about AI implants and neural technologies, that was a big plus for me, because, well, they got it's documented on a piece of paper. It's a mandate. They got denied, but still it's on a piece of paper. And I don't think we should forget about that. But if you look at the Neural Rights Foundation, like, they have tons of information. I mean, they have a downloadable report that they sent to the United Nations. It's about 189 report. It mentions the DARPA, mentions the N3 project or the S3 project. It mentions a lot of different things. And it does even go into some of the details of cyber torture, where it does recognize, you know, victims of this neural technologies and afflictions by cyber web. And yeah, it's been an interesting task because I'm taking on new concepts. I'm stepping it off into a new world, trying to move forward, and while I'm being targeted on top of that. So it's been hard. It's been really hard, but I got some really patient people that work with me, and they love it. They love the idea, and they love persevering through it, even though they go through a lot themselves. But in any case, for something to stop, the victims are the ones that usually have to come forward and present themselves and get something to stop. But if you take a look at what they did back in the Nazi concentration camps, I mean, they tortured those people for a long time, and they did a lot of mutilations and chemical testings and all these things, and just like what they're doing to us, they're torturing us, they're using us for whatever, they're pulling their data out, their biological data, they're nearly killing you for it, and it's insane, and it's time for the government, whether they confirm or deny it, it's time for the people to do something. It's time for the people to do something. So, we are on the verge of this, and I just want to say that, it's whatever we come up with all together, whatever we can do all together, because that's what it's going to take. I mean, if people can go out and protest over other issues that are human rights and beliefs, then we can too. We can do that too. We can get noticed because, if we bring up the satellites and what they can do with these satellites, if we bring up what the past and what this government has done to the United States citizens, then we should be able to press forward with our information and go about our way. I totally see that. If we keep doing it and coming together without fear, because fear is what's going to stop you. Fear is what's going to stop us all. But that fear, once that fear gets into your mind, you say, nope, get out. I'm going on. I'm moving on for it. That's how we do it. Because these individuals that work up in our White House need to know that the citizens of the United States of America are tired and done being targeted by them and their will. We're tired of being targeted by foreign nations. We're tired of space satellites. We're tired of neural weapons. We're tired of cyber web attacks. We're tired of implants. We're tired of these things. And we're tired of being called crazy. We're tired of being locked up in a mental hospital. We're tired of not being heard. And these are the things that we need to focus on, because that's what's going to get us to a new level. And that's no lie. We can jump to the next level. I mean, if they can comprehend. I think because we've been relying on the government too much to take a knowledge of this, I think probably more of our own citizenship should be the initiative for everything. We should be the fighters. We should be fighting back. And I know that we've been trying to contact the government, but the government doesn't seem to want to hear it for obvious reasons. Such as the Havana syndrome case, when that attorney guy, Mark Zaid, said that the government is trying to cover everything up. Cover the whole thing up. Now you tell me why are they trying to cover it up? Why do you think that? Why would he say that they're trying to cover all this stuff up? Because they don't want these issues getting out. They want to keep it buried long enough for them to come up with something probably, and then initiate. Well, it's probably Russia doing it. Well, it might be, but it still happened inside the United States. It happened to government workers, and I mean, who has the most neural weapons in the world? It's China. So. And the United States, which they've had these things since the 60s. So, DARPA has satellites. Everybody's got satellites. The DOD has satellites. They all got satellites up in space, but nobody's paying attention to them, which is upsetting to me because these things keep occurring, and these are one of the most biggest contributors that are happening to our bodies right now are these satellites. They create the internet, they shoot beams down at us, they can do all these things, but if we can focus on the satellites, we can probably shut down more than half of this thing, probably half the signal that's coming down on us, because those are the things that is the imperial devices up in space. Those are the imperial devices. The countries on the ground, we have bullets. Up in space, they got EMF and all this stuff that they can do with. I mean, nobody needs, bullets. They don't care about guns. They don't care about.
This is the fourth industrial revolution call, and that's what they're doing. Yeah, this is the new technology, the new weapon of choice, less lethal, as they call it. Anybody have a question for Lewis before we shut down the recording?
Hey, Lewis, it's Laura from Colorado.
Hey, Laura.
Hey, what's up? So I was on a call with you, and you mentioned that you had gotten 30, or how many, 320 letters to your representatives last year in your state?
Oh, that was a couple years ago, but we ended up doing, I think, 365 different letters.
You're amazing.
Thank
You're
you.
amazing.
Appreciate it.
And yeah, I know you've been doing this for years, and been trying to get together stuff in my state, and it is ongoing and hard, and I appreciate you. 370.
I appreciate you too.
Oh my.
Yeah. Yeah.
You two met too. Actually, Laura met Lewis in Sacramento, I think.
That is true. Handing out flyers back then in 2019.
That's right.
That's right.
We met each other then, and here we are now today. So
here we are now today.
And we're still fighting, and I like that. This is great, and I can run off of you that both of your energies too to keep it going.
Amen. Thank you, Chris.
Any other questions for Lewis?
Hi, Lewis.
Hey.
Thank you for all your hard work. I'm wondering what you think about the Colorado legislation.
I think it's pretty good. I mean, it does mention some things, and it has some interesting points on it. So, like for example, when it mentions, okay, let me see, I gotta find it. All right, so it says, okay, so we all experience these experiences. We all experience these things, because of what it does. I mean, it's interpreting what we're doing. So let me try to find this right quick. Let me see. Let me pull this up.
You're listening to Lewis Rowe being interviewed by DJ Chris on your favorite platform. If you're on Spotify listening, thank you. YouTube or BitChute or Archive.
Thanks, Chris. So it says, okay, so the peripheral nervous system to its internal external environment, particularly pressing privacy concerns, and decode and manipulate brain activity. Data concerning the activity of the human brain, nervous systems, or neural data is extremely sensitive and intimate information about individuals. See, that there alone is right there. That's good alone, because it's talking about the coding, the manipulations, all these things that occur. I mean, yes, it does mention consumer technologies, but that occurrence right there, and that is also a law. So it mentions.
Yeah, do you know, I sent his first name was Josh or something, and he's out of Menlo Park. I sent him a message about adding remote neural hacking or monitoring to that bill that he's doing right now in California.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, I had to hunt him down through Twitter, but he didn't respond back, but I did talk to him.
That's nice.
Yeah, you can't talk to him if you're not in the same zone as he. But anyway, sorry to interrupt your conversation with the person. Keep going.
No, it's okay. If we can figure out a way how to use this bill, this law that's up there, if we can figure out how to use it like that right there when it talks about the manipulations for neural technologies and stuff, then we shouldn't have a problem getting done what needs to be done. And so that becomes like an adversary by itself, because if we can get body scans and all that, and then the people in Colorado should be able to do something. That this is against the law of what they're doing. They're collecting data off of us. We got implants inside of our bodies. What about that? We need to amend this bill a little bit. We need to fix it up, and more to the side of not just neurotechnologies and privacy data and all these things, but the illegal hardware that's being used on us, the neural networks that's being used.
Yeah, that we probably paid for with our taxes.
Oh yeah, probably, absolutely.
So, Lewis, so if we were trying to take this to our own state legislators, this bill, and kind of tweak it, you have any wording for that, or is there a way to kind of brainstorm how to do that? Because I think some of us I know some of us are trying to do that at our respective states.
Maybe Lewis can put something on his website we can all access if you'd like.
That'd be cool. Yeah. Well, the thing is that you would have to prove that what's happening to you, that your neural data is being pulled from your body. You would have to prove that. That would be probably the top line point of interest right there, to be able to prove something like that, is proving that your information is being sent out. And I'm not sure if that guy in Utah can do that or not. If he can determine whether or not the implants are receiving or
John Kingston,
yeah, John Kingston. So I'm not sure.
He can.
But
he does 3 different scans. He does one for implants, one for chips, and one of them it activates all of the sensors within your body. Doesn't matter what kind they are, but it activates all of them. And each one sends off some kind of frequency. I'm not saying that all of them are different, but each one has a unique frequency to it. And then you match up the frequency with who owns that frequency, who is sending that frequency out, and then you trace that back to the corporates or whoever. So that's what I was going to do, was tweak the bill that got passed here in Colorado to where it also covers the bioschematics and the biosensors and your blood, your DNA type, your heritage. It covers all the bases of different ways, and your brain signature, all the different ways that maybe they didn't take into account to totally protect us, whether it be through DNA, blood, the neurosignature, the frequency patterns, any of that stuff, but to amend that bill to include all of that. But I thought that the best way to go about doing that was for us to go to Utah, get the scan done, and bring the results back to prove what we're saying needs to be changed within the bill.
Exactly.
Then amend the bill, resubmit it, and get it changed.
Yeah, because that is something that you can use. Because if they are using the frequencies, you can determine which kind of frequencies that they're using to manipulate your brain, not just hear the voices, but manipulate your brain. That is good. Now, that's a good concept. Yeah. And that would probably that's more doable than just showing up and just that would do it right there, because you guys do have a law, and it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard. But if there's an attorney up there that can take a look at that, and then your group can come up with the money, or you guys all go together, go get scanned, and then get that information that you need, then I mean, darn, these are.
Well, that's what I'm looking to do. That's exactly why I became a delegate in Colorado. I started at the county level, I went to the district level, now I'm at the state level. Now this bill got passed, and so that's exactly what I'm trying to do, and not just for me, but for all of us, because our rights are being violated, our bodies, our brains, our blood, all this testing, all of this torturing. I mean, it is totally against the law. It's, Nuremberg 2.0. So I'm looking to, get going with this. We're going to go on the Savage podcast tomorrow. I will be on the radio show. We're doing a podcast at 9:30. And I'm just looking to get out there with different, YouTube channels or podcasts, or, I got a conservative movement meeting that I'm going to, and I've got other meetings with the state coming up. So
fantastic.
It's going to be out there. Yes.
So we're moving. Thank you for that information. That's great. I don't want to be rude, but I'm going to end the recording, but you can keep talking. Thank you for watching or listening to this recording. Please check back next week when we have John Phillips. Thank you for your time.